Well, what's up, everybody? How you doing? Dave Fennoy here, and you know what? It's just you and me today. Didn't have a guest, and I just thought, you know what? Let's just talk. So, anything you want to know about voiceover, we'll talk about that. I'm going to give a little bit of my history, how my career got started, and so forth. And anything that you want to talk about, especially voiceover wise, we can hit some other topics. But before we jump in, okay, all the Ask Dave Fennoy Anythings live on my YouTube channel, Dave Fennoy Voiceover Training. Uh, 24/7, 365. You can go back and watch. If you're interested in coaching with me, davefennoy.com, there's a study VO tab at the top. Click on it, and away we go. And if you want to follow me, at Dave Fennoy VO. So far, there we go. There we go. When it's just me, I get a chance to say hello to a few more people. Stacy, the Walking Dead fan. Dave, hope you're doing well. I am doing well. My voice is just a little bit hoarse. Been working a lot in the last couple of days and today. And that is one of the things that happens in voiceover is sometimes your voice is a little hacked up. Mine is a little hacked up right now. And I'll tell you what I do: rest, which I'm not doing right now. Uh, but you want to rest your voice. Stop talking. And I know sometimes you're married, you're in a relationship. Sometimes you just have to say, honey, can't talk right now. Nod your head. Mm-hmm. Mm-mm. Mm. That was a maybe. Another thing that works for me is tea with honey and lemon. As a matter of fact, I don't need the tea so much as the honey and the lemon. I went to a voice specialist at one point who said, oh, no, none of that works. But it works for me. Maybe it's all in my head, but I'm not the only one who feels like that. And let's see, let's say hello to somebody else. Tony, Enduring Media. Hi, you Dave. I love the Hawaii thing. Yo, dude, what's up? So good to see you, Tony. And Tony, what's going on with you? I see you there with the microphone. Tell me a little bit about yourself as we go along. That said, also keep yourself hydrated. Drink a lot of water. One of the things you can do to kind of reset your voice when it's a little hacked is to yawn. And suddenly my voice is it's a little clearer. Let me do it again. Good thing to do, but nothing like water. Stay hydrated. And I do a lot of video games. I do a lot of other things too, but video games, I think, are one of the toughest things on your voice. And one of the suggestions I make when you are in session, ordinarily, just a regular game without too much vocal stress, you're going to get uh, a break every hour. But when you have a lot of vocal stress, say the script says battle chatter, be afraid, be very afraid. More often than not now, directors will give you a break every 20 minutes when it's really, really vocally stressful. Just shooting off the top of my head here. That's the first stuff that came to my mind. Because I'm kind of stalling to say hello to people who pop in. Pamela Antoine. Hey, Dave. Good to see you and hear you. And you as well. Pamela, I saw a post on Facebook the other day. I don't remember what it was, but it made me smile, whatever it was. When I have people on, I always try to get to the bottom of how they got started in this business, what got them interested. So I'm going to talk about my interest in voiceover and how I got started. And I think it goes back to even before I knew there was ever going to be a voiceover career. I grew up in Cleveland, Ohio. Cleveland is in the great American Midwest, where that really is the American accent. If you're in New York, you're East Coast. Well, if you're in the South or someplace, uh, or if you're in Minnesota, yeah, those are American accents, yes, but they are not the standard American accent. Grew up in the Glenville area, black neighborhood. That was the 60s, and this was before integration was a thing. I remember growing up in Cleveland. One of the great suburbs was Shaker Heights. And when black people started moving into Shaker Heights, they were kind of forced into one little corner. And once there were enough black people in that corner, Shaker Heights said, "You know what, Cleveland, you can have this. We don't want to be bothered." Ah, the stories, the stories, the stories of racism in America. Anyway, so my parents made sure that I learned to speak English as a typical American. And of course, as a black person, you also learn to speak the genre of where you are. And for some of y'all, uh, maybe you've heard about code switching. I think in reality, we all do it. I don't care who you are, when you're hanging with your friends and it's casual, you're speaking in a slightly different way than when you're trying to do business. And that's as it should be. But those of us who are black sometimes, we had to learn to code switch so you wouldn't think we're stupid. And but I'm gonna tell you this: some of the smartest people I know uh, speak in a way that some of y'all would not be able to recognize their intelligence, despite the fact that there is great intelligence. Let's see. Carman Dies or Diaz. Hello, Dave. I understand you can't talk about it yet, but I think I recognize your voice in the brand new Borderlands trailer. Very exciting. You are absolutely right. I can't talk about anything like that right now. Greg Battle, it's been a minute, man. How you doing? Uh, and that's right. You're agreeing with what I say. Um, but how do you get started and I know I'm rambling because that's what I do. How do you get a voiceover career started even before you know you're starting it? Uh, and like I said, one of the things is my parents made sure I spoke standard English, standard American English well, despite the fact that I'm in the hood and I'm hanging with the boys and we learned to speak some other ways too. They sent me to private boys' school when I got into seventh grade. And even before that, I had training, musical training to introduce me to things in life, something more than just the neighborhood elementary school and what that had to offer. So in Cleveland, Ohio, there is an art center called Caramoo House. And if you know a black actor is from Cleveland, they went to Caramoo House. They studied at Caramoo House. And I did. I took modern dance. I took art classes, painting, sculpture, music. I played the trumpet until they put braces on my teeth. Then I picked up the guitar. And I was in several plays. And I think that had a lot to do with why I ended up with a voiceover career, which I didn't know I was going to have a voiceover career until much later in life. Um, I was interested in theater and music. Theater and music. In high school, when I went to Hawkins School for then boys, it's now a co-ed school, private school. I was one of the first black people to go to the school. That was when integration was just beginning to happen. I became in ninth grade, ninth or 10th grade, president of the Players Society. Not the players like the players, baby, but players as in theater. I directed plays, I acted in plays, wrote a few plays, and was doing that kind of thing, as well as playing music. We had a little band in high school called the Troubled Few. No, no one would have ever heard of it. We only played a few gigs. Uh, and I began becoming a singer-songwriter. And when I went off to college as a theater major, I was also playing music, kind of what I call humming and strumming, kind of a funky folk music kind of thing, because I was playing by myself when I went to school with acoustic guitar, Richie Havens kind of thing. And I actually went down the road of music for a career. After a year and a half of school, I was at McAllister College in St. Paul, Minnesota, as they used to advertise it, the Harvard of the Midwest. Went there for a year and a half, had a wonderful time, had much more fun than I had learning. Had a wonderful time, and I was playing coffee shops and other schools around town and decided I'm going to quit school and go on the road as a musician. And that's what I did for a couple of years. Finally decided, I better go back to school. So I went to Howard University, a historical black college, and wonderful school. And finished up in music in the jazz program there. Got married, had a kid. The bands was playing with, they weren't actually getting to go where I wanted them to go. My wife at the time uh, was going to enter a PhD program at UC Berkeley. So we moved to Berkeley, and I was playing music there, but I was transitioning into radio. I actually took the Columbia School of Broadcasting course. And if that course is still happening, there's somebody out there that's thinking about taking it as a way of getting into broadcasting, save your money. Save your money. Uh, it was funny. Once I finished the course, um, they asked me if I wanted to help teach. Yeah, that's what I thought. Um, Not every school is a good school. But by the time I was finished, I had my little demo for radio moving to the San Francisco Bay Area, and I thought I was ready to be a DJ right there. I was ready to do mornings. That's the ego that doesn't know what you don't know. Um, I had to learn. Everybody told, oh, you got to go to a smaller market and work your way back. Somehow, I managed to begin my career in the San Francisco Bay Area. It was a smaller station just on the other side of the hills, KWUN. And I had a horrible name. Your good buddy Dave. Ooh, it was terrible. CHR station. And I did, maybe a year there while I was simultaneously working at KBLX, The Quiet Storm. And at KBLX, I was a continuity director. I wrote commercials and made sure the right commercials played at the right time. Um, and they didn't want to let me on the air there because I was working at that other station. But eventually, the number one station in town gave me a shot doing overnights on KSOL. And you know what? Before that, KRE. It was KBLX KRE. The program director, Roy Lee, is no longer with us. Big, heavy set brother who took a liking to me. And Roy Lee had a voice like this. Yeah, it's Roy Lee. And even though he was 5 feet tall and 5 feet wide, the women just loved him. He'd be on the radio in between. Yeah, baby, how you doing? Yeah, I'm gonna come on. You can come on over here. I'm gonna let you do what you want to do with me, baby. Yeah. He was a guy, but a really good guy outside of that. If only because he was a fan of mine. And he gave me my actual first shot in major radio. KWUN was in Concord. It wasn't really in the Bay Area, but KRE was. And I had a great time at that station. I had an evening show. I took requests and talked to audiences about their relationships, and it was a great time. Before I continue here, just a few more hellos because I rarely get to do this. TV Samsung, hello. Can you say welcome to Grappital City? And that's from a game that is no longer available out there, Rumbleverse. Uh, I, I should have worn the T-shirt, but I didn't know you were going to ask me to say that. Yeah, welcome to Grappital City. And one of my favorite games to work on, Venus Crute. Oh, you're a Howard mom. You got a kid at Howard? Well, God bless him. And great school. Let's see. Sam Penguin. First time I've caught one of these, and it's 2 a.m. in the UK. I like a lot of younger people. Found you through Telltale Work. I'd love to get into voice work. So I'm all ears. Thank you, Dave, from Sam. You are welcome. I like your little cartoon character there. Yeah, whatever that is. Anyway, back to radio. While I was working at KBLX, you know what? I'm leaving out something else. Well, I'm going to have to write this down and get the book written. The actual first radio thing I did was an internship at KNEW. It was the powerhouse AM radio station. All the sports happened there. And to get that job, it was one of the few internships that paid. It was minimum wage, but it paid. I had to learn how to type. I had never learned how to type, and which everybody's got to do now. But when you go into a private boys' school, they don't teach you to type. Public school might have some typing classes. Private school, especially at that time, did not, because we, as the gentlemen going to this college preparatory school, they were developing the young leaders of America, the future of America, and that future would have secretaries to do their typing for them. Like to say a different time? Well, I think for most of it is a different time. But I had to learn how to type to become an intern. So I went to Sears. I bought a $65 typewriter and a book on typing. And my wife of the time and I and our then 6 to 1 year old daughter were living in a 1-bedroom apartment. My daughter was sleeping in a closet. And every day when I got up, I would practice typing for about half an hour or an hour. I'd met a couple buddies of mine, one little guy named Shorty Blue, who had worked at KBLX. And the reason we became friends was because I was on the bus and saw him in a KBLX hat. Hey, man, you worked at KBLX? Yeah. Let's get to, I'm trying to get into radio. And Shorty Blue was only about 5'5", and a little bit of a hood rat, but good heart. And some of the stories with Shorty Blue, I'm not going to say here. I think the statute of limitations is up, but better safe than sorry. But there I am at KBLX. I'm writing the commercials and making sure the right spots play in the right time. And for some reason, the program director of KBLX just didn't like me. He told me there was something wrong with my voice. He told me, you're never going to make it in this business. And this was a guy, program director. He's somebody who you might want to believe, but I didn't believe him. My desire and my belief in myself was beyond what he could say about me. And one of my goals in becoming successful in radio and then voiceover was to prove him wrong. Years later, I got in touch with him on Facebook and kind of, yeah, well, I went on, did mornings in town and da 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 da. And he was like, yeah, okay, well, I hope you forgive me. But you're going to run into that. You're going to run into people who don't believe in you. I was doing informational interviews with people in broadcast as broadcast writers, commercial writers, while I was trying to get into voiceover. And I had a broadcast producer. I took a meeting with him and he said, you know what? We've got enough voices. We don't need anybody else. Well, maybe they don't need anybody else, but they're going to get somebody else. If for no other reason than we get older, we quit the business, either walk away or die, or your voice has changed. And if they're looking for somebody with a younger voice, then those younger voice spots that you used to do, somebody younger is now going to do. So if this is the path you're on, don't be deterred by the naysayers. Uh, Unfortunately, sometimes the people who give you the worst advice are the people who love you most. Your mom, your dad, your girl, your boy, your friends. They may not see in you what you see in yourself. Believe yourself. All right, let's see who else is here. Oh, Kurt Ford. Hi, Dave. I enjoyed your segment of the narration course at Voice Tracks SF a while back. Oh, yeah. Well, thank you for that. Yeah, that's another thing I do is narrate. Steve Bailey. What's going on, man? Hi, Dave. Good to be here with you. Long time since I've seen you. Thanks for what you do. Steve, thanks for what you do. Steve, just great spirit. Great spirit. Shows up and you can't help yourself but smile. Speaking of great spirit and smiles, Jeff Burns. Hey, Dave. Hey, Jeff. How you doing? Good to see you. Popping in again, Carmen Diaz. I don't want to say Carmen dies. It looks like Carmen dies, but I don't want Carmen to die, at least not yet. So is it dies or Diaz? I don't know. Dave, how was your experience working with voice directors for games? That's a good question. My experience has been very good. And one of the things you have to understand, just like each and every one of us is an individual, each and every voiceover director is a little different from all the others. Sometimes I work with a buddy of mine, J.B. Blanc, who is a superlative actor in his own right and a wonderful director. And we have also been friends for many years, and we kind of have a shorthand for how we work. And from him, I don't mind taking a line reading. And he'll give me a line reading, and what I kind of do is translate that line reading into what that would be like coming from me. It's not exactly what he did, but it's the spirit of what he did, because what I understand with him is the line read isn't, I want this music. The line read is, I want this reaction, this thought, this attitude, which is what you're going for anyway. So he's somebody that I trust. And most of the time, he's not giving me line reads, but he's explaining what's happening in the scene and what my character thinks about what's going on. Which is why when I'm teaching, the things I'm teaching are to help you become your own self-director. Used to be that you went to your agent's office or you went to a casting place and you had a casting director, somebody who kind of told you what you needed to do. You might have sat in the lobby and read the copy, and of course, hopefully you're getting an idea of what it is, but you're familiarizing yourself with and then somebody else is telling you what to do. Now we have to tell ourselves what to do on our auditions. We're not going into our agents. I know my agent, CESD, has someone that will help you with your auditions, but we don't get that a lot. We don't get that a lot. So, where was I? Well, we're going to go back to, oh, here's a nice long one. Zach Killshot. Wow, so nice. Hey, I'm back here. I'm back here. I love Lee and Kitty's character work as they formed a brotherly bond depending on how you do things. I wish we could have gotten more of them together. You gave me courage to do this streaming thing because I've always been antisocial, and it was diffused with Asperger's. But now I'm doing this, and I feel better about it because you're brave and cool, and I don't feel alone as much anymore. Sorry for the rambling. You're apologizing to me for rambling. You've been hearing my rambling. Um, Zach, let me just say this. One, thank you for the kind words, and it gives my heart pleasure to know that I'm touching people's lives in a positive way. And if I've touched your life in a positive way, that's a really good thing. Rambling again. I have a sister who is a physician. She's a pediatric endocrinologist in New York. She's been named one of New York's top doctors several times over her career. And what was I going to say? I lost my train of thought. Oh well. Thought gone. It's what happens when you get enough gray hair. You'll go off on a tangent and it'll just go away. Now, I remember what it was. I always thought of her as doing very, very important work. She's saving lives. As a pediatric endocrinologist, she's working with obese kids, with kids who have growth problems. So they're working with growth hormone. So some kids can attain the height that they probably should. And working with people with diabetes to help them eat correctly, lose weight, and study what needs to happen for them to get and be healthy. I always thought, oh, she's doing the really important work. I'm just having fun. That was until I met fans of some of my work at conventions. Voice actors in general, do not sell yourselves short. What we do as entertainers is important. Often we're touching lives in ways that we had no idea. It's not why we got in this business. We got in this business because we had the acting bug or the music bug, whatever artistic bug that you've got. And often it seems like, well, is this really helping anybody? Am I really being selfish? Shouldn't I be a doctor or a lawyer? No. Art is important. Art is that mirror of ourselves that helps us find ourselves, improve ourselves, connect with our humanity. And the number of times people have come to me to tell me how a particular character, and yes, it's more often than not Lee Everett, has meant something to them. That performance, that Lee Everett was the dad they didn't have. That Lee Everett taught them how to be a dad. That they just got comfort in the story knowing that somebody would help somebody else like that. That is a wonderful feeling. It's beyond the money. It's beyond the joy of just doing the work. Because I'll tell you a secret: if money weren't a thing, I'd do this for free. But money is a thing, so gotta have the money. Anyway, let's see who else is here. Furby Flash. Hi, Dave. Do you think maybe you could have Globert say hit the slay button? I saw a meme of him saying that on my Twitter, and it feels in character for him. I'm amazed at how many people are into Mixels and Flobert. Hit the button. Hit the button. Afro Power. I got the Black Jesus there, who probably was black. Do you not speak like Mariah Carey when you... Do you not speak like Mariah Carey when you know you got a voice over gig that day? Do you not speak like How does Mariah Carey speak? You know, there's something in there. There's something I'm not connecting with. What's the Mariah Carey connection there? Speaking like Mariah Carey. One, my voice isn't that high. I don't have that many octaves. Leo G. Hello, Dave. I hope you're fine. I recently played all the Walking Dead games, and I just want to say that you were amazing as Lee. Could you maybe say hi as Lee to my friend E-Ray? He showed me the games. E-Ray, keep your hair short, and don't trust Leoji. He'll steal your stuff. Yeah, I shouldn't have said that. E-Ray, how you doing, man? And Leoji, thanks for popping in and saying hello. Joel August, or is it Auguste? Hi, Dave. Great to hear from you. I loved your promo demo. Really looking to get into that genre soon. Getting back into history. Once I got the voiceover bug, and this is how I got it. I was still writing commercials and doing continuity for KBLX-KRE. Wasn't on the air. Showed up one day, showing up at work about 9 or 10 o'clock, and the morning guy was leaving from KBLX, and we were friends. You know, you get to be, when you're doing continuity, you're in and out of the booth all the time. And of course, I'm telling you, yeah, you know, one day I want to be on the air too. So we had a friendly relationship, and I said, oh, where are you going, man? He says, I'm going over to the city to do some voiceover work. I make more money doing that than I do on the radio. That's exactly what he said. I've never forgotten those words. And I went, voiceover? What's voiceover? And he goes, oh, you know, it's when you hear a voice but you don't see him on radio or television. That's voiceover. And I said, well, how do you get into that? And he goes, well, you know, you got to get a demo, then you get an agent, and then you start working. And that thought never, I didn't do anything about it for a couple of years, but the thought never left me. I think part of the reason is I was so focused on getting my radio career started, which I was able to do. Ended up, the last job I had was a morning jock at KSOL, depending on the book, the number 1 or 2 station in town. Also did mornings at KDIA, the boss of the Bay, both R&B stations in town. And, oh, Jeff Burns again. Jeff. Been a crazy year, but still here, still auditioning and commuting to LA whenever I can. Jeff, where are you commuting from? Because I thought you lived here. And once again, just rambling, but thank goodness the game strike is over. And I was fortunate to work doing games during the strike because enough video game companies signed the interim agreement and the VO writer, the AI writer, I mean. And that kept me and a lot of other people working in video games, even though we were on strike. I can already tell that it has picked up, that, you know, more auditions and more bookings are coming through. So thank goodness the strike is over. Did we get all we want? No, but we moved forward a step. And with video games, this is the biggest industry in entertainment. Video games make more money than music and movies combined. Clearly, voice actors in video games are not getting paid what we should be getting paid. But it's getting a little better. And we have to fight in the union to get inch by inch by inch so that the people who are coming behind us have opportunities perhaps that we don't have. And this isn't something new. SAG-AFTRA, they're not perfect, but SAG-AFTRA has been there fighting for actors, performers for decade after decade after decade. I have my problems with SAG-AFTRA. It's a big bureaucracy. They move too slow. I was on the promo panel for negotiating with the people who hire promo voices. Went to New York, uh, and Don LaFontaine, who the most successful voice actor ever, was involved, and other people, Bill Ratner, a few others. And we sat in a meeting, and management's uh, negotiator came in, and the first thing he said was, "We don't really need you guys. We could get anybody to do this. You're not worth any more than $25 per promo." Well, at the time we were getting $215 plus 10. But that is often, for working people, what the people who hire us think of us. If they could have slavery back, they'd have slavery back. And in many ways, looking at what some people are making, it kind of is slave wages. And we're beyond voiceover here when we're talking about what it costs to live now. I remember the conversations about, oh, we can't raise the minimum wage. If we raise the minimum wage, everything will go up. Well, didn't raise the minimum wage really, and everything has still gone up. It's much harder now. It's more expensive now for housing, for food, for cars, for fuel, for everything, despite the fact that salaries haven't gone up. And I'm not talking just about voiceover here. And I say that in the full knowledge that I make a very good living. I'm not saying this for me. I'm saying this for so many others, especially people who are starting out now, whose student loans are too high. That was changed. Student loans used to be not so expensive. And there was a time you could go to public colleges for free or damn near next to it. Those days are long gone. And some of it was to keep people like me, black people, Spanish people, Asian people, from going to school. To keep you, oh, if they can't go in. They won't be able to afford it. May not believe me, but that's the truth. All right. Let's see who else we have here. Zach Kill shot again. I feel like Telltale can make a comeback, just need perseverance. You know, it's very interesting what happened with Telltale. They had several semi-successful games before the Walking Dead game. But the Walking Dead game put them on the map in a way that nothing else before or since could or did. The Walking Dead game Season 1 became the game of the year in 2013. I was nominated for Best Performance in a Video Game numerous times. I won a few awards. I was even nominated for a BAFTA, and I got to go to the ceremony, wear my tuxedo, and wait for my name to be called as the winner of the BAFTA for Best Performance in a Video Game, and no, I was there, but somebody else won. But there is something to that thing you hear all the time about the Oscars, the Emmys. It is an honor just to be nominated. It is one of the proudest moments in my life. And whenever I'm asked the favorite character I've ever played, I have to say Lee Everett, because Lee Everett gave me so many gifts. All right. Hey, let me say hello to Michael Glover. What's going on, man? Look at you and your baby. Good to see you. The engine. Okay. I'm not sure what you're telling me there, but something. And Zach Killshot again. It makes me feel very happy hearing that. Thank you, Dave. You truly inspire me more and more, and I hope I can entertain people like you do and make everyone happy being myself and not letting my autism define me. Uh-oh, another ramble. Okay, well, I guess we're both rambling on here. Just a guy. Hi, Dave. Really love your work, but specifically in Star Wars: The Clone Wars as Pong Krell. What was it like to play a character that was designed to be hated by the audience. Oh, those are some of the most fun characters to play. Pong Krill, deliciously fun to play. Um, and another character that got killed off. Damn it. But Pong Krell was great. I think it was season 5 of Star Wars: The Clone Wars. I had a 5-story arc with that character. Uh, he was fighting on the side of the Jedi's, and then he became a traitor. And in mid-sentence, after he had been captured, they killed him. I was in the middle of a line. Blah, 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 blah. But one of my most memorable characters to play, one of my favorite characters to play. Afro Power, once again, she doesn't really speak at all when she got to sing that day, to sing at her best. Okay. I just wonder, do you do the same thing, since I know some voiceover sessions take hours? Yes, some of them do. And I will I will rest my voice a lot. If I'm doing a session and there's a lot of shouting efforts, that kind of thing, when I get a break, I shut up. All right, I shut the F up. I'm sipping my tea, and it's let me tell you another thing not to do when your voice is damaged. Do not whisper. It takes a lot. It's very hard on your throat when you're whispering. And a lot of times people have a sore throat and they think, well, I'll just whisper. You're doing more damage than good. Just be quiet. Mr. Michael Glover again. Yes, I'm a gamer, and the VO characters are very powerful. Good writing and a great storyline combined with great voice acting, like yours, makes the games very enjoyable and powerful, even to tears. Yeah, one of the things about the Walking Dead game and that final scene with Lee and Clementine is so many people cried. At its height, and for a number of years, when I'd be at conventions where we were talking about The Walking Dead, my question to audience members, so did you cry? If you cried, I did my job. And I can't tell you how many people, grown ass, big, burly men. Yeah, man, you made me cry, Dave. You ever made me cry? Uh, all right. Oh, Bernard Tanner. Let's see what you've got to say, Bernard. Evening, Dave. How are you, VOC? Do you want do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life? I remember the great June Foray was asking her 90s when she was going to retire, and she said, "From what? Playing?" Hey, I just remember, Dave, I'm owed, let's see, what does that say? I'm owed 2 VO classes from you. Oh, yeah, great time, man. Right in public. Okay, well, we'll work it out. We'll work it out. June Foray, she was the voice of Smurfette, and she was my very first voiceover lesson. I was still in San Francisco. I was just getting started in voiceover, and somebody had mentioned her and that she lived in town and gave me her number, called her up, and she said, yeah, come over to my apartment. Let's do a lesson. And the lesson was $50 for an hour with June Foray. And at the end of it, she says, you're ready. Go do it. I don't think I was really ready, but maybe I was a little further on the way than some of her other students. Or maybe she just didn't want me coming back. I don't know. But she was encouraging. She was very encouraging. Chris Columbus Watkins III. Hey, Chris, it was good to see you the other day, man. And your lovely girlfriend. Love you, Dave. Saying hello from my Istanbul travels. Can't wait to chat. Always value your insight. My pleasure. And Leo G again. Would you like an idea of a live-action version of Telltale: The Walking Dead? And if yes, who do you think would play Lee? Oh, man. That is a very good question. There are a lot of really great black actors out there. Now, wouldn't that be interesting if they brought The Walking Dead back and did a version with Lee Everett and Clementine? Who would play Lee Everett? Who would play Lee Everett? Anybody got any ideas? Carmine again. I recently played Gears 5, Hive Busters DLC for the first time. I love your work for Keegan. Oh, it was a great character to play. I imagine for Gears, you have to record a lot of shouting and screaming, LOL, and I hope we get some more of him. Well, you know what? That was a number of years ago. I don't know if we're going to have any new Keegan. Uh, but one of the things about Keegan, there was a lot of battle chatter and so forth and so on. But one of the most interesting things was doing the efforts. Now, efforts, for those who don't know, those are the sounds you're making that aren't words. It might be hitting, being hit, laughing, crying, jumping, landing, swinging swords, whatever. Um, and I had to do something in that I'd never done before, which is what we call chase the scene. And one of the scenes, Keegan had jumped out of an airplane. He parachuted down. Uh, he lands on a mountain, takes off his parachute, then trips and falls down the mountain. And when he gets down the mountain and there's a cliff and he goes over the cliff and he grabs hold of a tree branch and then pulls himself back up uh, to the ledge, looks up and he sees the plane that he was just in going by and crashing into a mountain further away. I had to chase that whole scene. So I've jumped out of the plane and I'm about to, and you land, and then, he stumbles and falls and rolls down. And you're watching and making the sounds that he would make as he's tumbling down. Ooh, ah, ooh, yeah, ooh, ah, but it's got to coincide. So you're watching and doing and watching and doing. Um, and it's a skill that if you're going to do video games, you need to learn is to be able to watch and give voice to that character's movements. Sometimes, most of the time, you're just doing efforts. And they might, it's bigger, or you're landing, but it'd be one at a time, one at a time. But chasing those efforts, watching that character in a fight and you're matching what the character is doing, real challenge, and a lot of fun. Let's see, hero game. Could you say welcome to? Oh, I did welcome to Grappital City. I'd love that game. Rumbleverse. It was so fun. I was Skip Leggerday, and welcome to Grappital City. It, just a ridiculously, stupidly wonderful game. Michael Glover again. It's getting much harder for retired people on a fixed income. Well, and guess what? They want to take your Medicare away or cut it way back, and they want you to get older before you can collect Social Security, and they don't want to fix Social Security. And when I say they, I mean the Republicans. I forget exactly what the top rate is. I think it's $130,000. A certain percentage of your salary up to $130,000 is going to go to Social Security, and then it stops. If you make 250 or 150, 200,000, 250 on salary, not another dime is going into Social Security. That would fix it. But Republicans want Social Security to go away. They have wanted it to go away since it was instituted. The American public loves it, but I think Republicans have found a way to convince people to vote against their own interests. And I think one of those ways is the racism that we're seeing now from the Republican Party. Let's get rid of DEI, even though the people who benefit from it most are white women. But let's get a DEI. Let's forget American history if it's black history. It's amazing. We were going to get the the people who are not citizens who came here illegally who are criminals. That's not what's happening now. They're pulling people out of work, away from Home Depot. Uh, People who have been here 20, 30 years have kids. The recent case, dad taken away, both his sons, uh, Marines. That's not what we should be doing. It's just not. Also, people always talk about, well, my people came here legally. We didn't have quotas on who could come here for most of America's history. That's fairly recent. And when we have had quotas, the first ones were we're not letting in any Chinese. You know, it was too late. They already brought us here. America's got to get over its racism. I'm not saying all white folks are or all folks are at all, but there are enough for whom their racism is more important to them than their security, than their prosperity. I was reading a book a number of years ago about just how connected to their racism some people are. When they started integrating pools in the South, rather than integrate them, white people closed the pools. We are not swimming with black people. When I was a kid, I was in Texas, down in Galveston, and my parents kind of told me about racism, but they didn't beat it into me. I did get all the time, you're going to have to be twice as good to get half as much, but you don't let that be an excuse for failure. I got all the time, you represent the family and the race. And this is things, if you're a white listener, you may not know anything about that, of the things that we as black people have had to go through, endure, just to be an American. But we were in Galveston. My mother's from East Texas, and we were down there, and there were kids surfing. This is in the 60s. And I wanted to surf. So my parents pulled over, and I went to the little surfboard shop, and I don't remember the looks. I don't think I was aware enough, but I rented the surfboard, and I could see all these people out on the beach as I ran to the water, and I paddled out and tried to get up on the board a few times, and I finally got up. I think I only got up on my knees a little bit. Oh, okay, this is working. But as I came in, I could see all the people leaving, moving to another area. That is an image that has stuck with me my entire life. All the white people, they didn't want to be anywhere near this black kid who was just trying to surf and share the ocean with them. Anyway, we got a long one here. Let's see. Chloe Bunt. Hey, Dave, so glad to have discovered these live streams. What a treat. They're always so full of great value. Wanted to ask, and sorry if this is a tired question, but what is your perspective in terms of being a relatively unknown name trying to break into LA scene remotely? I have an LA agent, but I'd love to have more chances at bats specifically for AAA video games. Some of it feels local exclusive, and other times it feels like a lot of it can come down to networking, i.e. being, let's get her back here. Down to networking, being more directly connected with a cat director. Would love to hear your perspective. Okay, well, that's a lot. There was a time, if you weren't in New York, Chicago, LA, maybe a few other places, San Francisco, you really weren't going to be able to do this business well. The internet has changed all that. Now we can do anything from anywhere. If you got a Mac, a microphone, and a high-speed internet, you can do this business. We have people doing this business internationally. There are Americans living in another country, somehow living on East Coast, Central, Mountain, or Pacific time, and working in America. Part of that is because there's so much more work than there used to be, well, for now. There's a lot of narration. There's a lot of e-learning, corporate narration, so forth and so on, that wasn't always there. So you can work from anywhere. And I actually believe you can almost do any game, any cartoon from anywhere. But there are times that the client wants you in LA in a studio, in New York in a studio. One of the issues with home studios, and we all have them, I use mine all the time. I do a lot of games from here as well as other studios. Um, when you're trying to get a consistent sound, every studio sounds a little bit different. And if you have everybody in different studios, it really becomes difficult to mix because of the different tone that every room has that's a little different from everything else. So I'm not going to say that, oh, yeah, you could just do it from anywhere. You can do it from anywhere, but you may not be able to do all of it from anywhere. Make sense? Okay. Zach Killshot again. You could play Lee in it easily. All you got to get is a haircut, dye your hair black, and then pull it up. Lee Everett was, what, about 35? I don't think I could pass for 35 now. But thanks for the vote of confidence. Um, ah, in the same vein, I thought of Idris Elba too. Um, I'm wondering if he might be just a tad too old, uh, but I think he'd be a great choice. Let's see, Afro Power. I enjoyed your work in The Wolf Among Us. Thank you, Bluebeard. Another character I'd love to play. Anthony Mackie would be a real good Leo. Yeah, he would. Anthony Mackie is doing the damn thing. Uh, and from something I said, Chloe Blunt. Great picture, by the way. My first time chasing the scene was a trip. Ha ha ha. I had never done something like that before and was working with a great director that I was hoping to impress and definitely ended up making a lot of mistakes. Ha ha. But it's always so heartening to see how patient most industry folk are I've met are, though, so far. We're in a really good industry. One of the comments you're always going to hear about voiceover people is the camaraderie, the community, how willing we are to help one another. And that hasn't changed. And I think we have infected the people who we work with, the directors, and so forth. Let's see, Michael Glover. Wow, you and I can sit over a nice brandy and have an interesting conversation. We are like-minded. Yeah. One more here from Carmine. I always think that LBJ quote of giving the poorest white man something to look down on and he'll empty his pockets for you. It's been the playbook. Yeah, it's sad. And, the sad part is it hurts all of us. I don't think the white racists realize the price they're paying for the racism. It's directed at people like me or people who are Asian or people who are Latin or people who are gay or trans or whatever. But they're spending so much time and effort trying to make sure that somebody they don't like doesn't get something, that they're not getting it either. It's just amazing. Wow. That hour has gone by already. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. I thought we were probably at about 6:30. Anyway, you know what? I promise I'm going to do this again before too long where it's just us and I can ramble on because there's some other things I wanted to get to about the journey of my career. But I really wanted the opportunity to be able to take more questions, say hello to people, respond to your comments, see your comments. Because often when I am interviewing somebody, I get to see very few of your questions. I've got my own questions, and we're in a conversation, and I'm only able to get so many of your questions in. Uh, but I got a lot more questions in. Got a lot. Was able to speak to you directly uh, today, and that's always a good thing. And let's see. I think one more. Bernard Tanner. For those of you who don't know Bernard, one of the most amazing voices, one of the sharpest and most full of information minds you will ever meet. I was just last week where I was from. I said just outside Chicago. That surprised him, and he asked if I was the son of an immigrant parent. I said no, and that surprised him. So I told him that my father's family had been here since 1742, and what was his point? He turned, whoops, we got to get it back. They only stay on for so long. Get back. He turned around and left, but as he was leaving, he said, wow, stating that he never heard an American black guy talk that way. By the way, Dave, have you and the others heard the incredible voice of the great British VO artist Red Pepper? I think I have heard Red Pepper. It's always amazing because most of the black people I know, well-educated, college-educated, some beyond college, doctors, lawyers, Indian chiefs, speak well. But when you hear the white person that their image of who we are isn't who we really are. Oh, you speak so well. Oh, you speak so well. My goodness. You shouldn't be surprised. You just should not be surprised. We are not who the media portrays us to be. We're much better than that. Much better. With that, I'm going to call it a night. This has been a pleasure. Love you guys. And I will see you next week, hopefully. There have been a few times here lately. I've had gigs that I've had to cancel. I think we're good to go for next week. And the following week, we'll see. In the meantime and in between time, book something. See ya.